Wow, it's yet another time, another beautiful day with TeacherX Project. We are here again. Now, you remember 2 weeks ago, we were here and we looked at what students should know with English language paper 2. I think we did that for 2 weeks. A week after, we looked at mathematics and it was a great one. Now, today is a little bit different. It's a meeting with TeacherX. Of course, every week we have something fine. Next week we have something fantastic we're bringing up. But today is a little bit different from what you know us with and what we have been doing. I have someone with me in the studio today. Of course, many of you must have seen the advertisement on LinkedIn, Instagram. She is a wonderful teacher. So when it comes to excellence in this job, there are some few people that I can give it to. And these are not the ones that are motivated by certain factors. I mean, these are people that got what we call intrinsic motivation. They were motivated from within. Now, I have a wonderful lady with me in the house, and we're just having about 45 minutes for this interview. But moreover, it's not an interview, it will just be a discussion between me, okay, and a colleague, a friend, a colleague, a wonderful teacher. I can call her a role model to an extent too, anyway. So she's going to be joining me. Her name is Kemi Ogunsanya. She is known as the Quintessential Teacher. Interestingly, I think I've forgotten. Let me first of all greet every lady, every woman in the world. Happy International Women's Day. But I'm going to change a little bit to Happy International Women's Week. Actually, because from Monday till now, we are still celebrating women. They are wonderful. And I know later we are still doing Mother's Day. I think that should be tomorrow, Mother's Day, and like that. So Happy International Women's Week. And we have a very wonderful woman in our midst. Interestingly, she became one of the top 100 career women in Nigeria in a particular selection that was done on Monday or Tuesday. So without wasting much of our time, I have a wonderful person in the house. I'm not going to do much introduction. I've mentioned her name. Kemi Ogunsanya is her name. She is known as the Quintessential Teacher, and she is one of the top 100 career women in Nigeria. So in the process of the interview, you are going to know other things about her. So join me as I welcome to the studio now the Quintessential Teacher. The Quintessential Teacher. Hello.
Good evening, everyone.
Okay, it's actually evening in Nigeria, and you're talking to the entire world. So probably it's morning somewhere, it's night somewhere. Some people are actually sleeping. They will see this much later. All right, you welcome, Kemi. Earlier, I said you are a role model. Sincerely, looking at your story, I can't really. Okay, I think I asked you. You later explain how we met and everything, but we are not going to say that on air anyway. Of course, we met on social media. We've never seen we are saying physically now. How do you say that now? We say we have never met one-on-one, right? This is one-on-one still. Yeah. Anyhow, you understand what we are talking about anyway. And you are here today. I've gone through your pages on LinkedIn, on Facebook. To a very large extent, I'm not eulogizing you. You stand out. So let me start with this. Who is Kemi Ogunsanya? I don't have your profile.
Right. Okay, so Kemi Ogunsanya is primarily a literacy educator. Currently, I work with Key Stage 2 students, children ranging between the ages of 7 to 10. Yes, I facilitate grammar classes, reading, creative writing, non-verbal reasoning to these students. I've been a teacher for about 7 years now, mostly in the private sector, even though I've had a brief stint in the public sector. Yes, who is Kemi Ogunsanya? Kemi Ogunsanya is she's a serial volunteer. She loves to volunteer across various social impact projects across different sectors in the education sector and even beyond. I have my first degree in English education, my master's degree in educational administration and planning from the University of Lagos. Kemi loves to read, she loves to write, and then I have my articles published in magazines and newspapers. Yes. So there's still more, but
you mean you are a teacher and you do all this?
Yes, I am. Yes.
We'll get to the point of time management. So don't let us jump. There is something you didn't mention.
Okay.
You said you are everything, but you have not mentioned the quintessential part of it. So I'm going to come there now. Hold on. You are known as the Quintessential Teacher. Now, one question. I guess you are still with us. Is this a nickname or a brand? Yes or no? a nickname or a brand?
It's a brand.
It's a brand. So hold on. There's this philosophy I created myself so many years ago. Sometimes around 2003, 2004, 2005. I gave myself a nickname. Of course, my students also named me. Somehow the name just came, and I was called Mr. Phenomenon. Over time, I discovered that fine, I like my name. I like my first name, Olasukomi. I enjoy it. I like that name, sincerely. However, I think some of us somehow we still want to give ourselves another name. I don't know whether you buy the same idea. Apart from the name our parents have given to us, we still feel like no, we should still carry ourselves like a baby and re-christen ourselves. So that's where do you buy the same idea with nickname too?
I understand what you're saying perfectly.
So, well, I'm not asking for a nickname. My nickname is not TeacherX anyway. My nickname is Mr. Phenomenon. But TeacherX is actually a brand, and I'm not the only brand of TeacherX. There are so many. Before the end of this program, of course, you're still going to know them. But let's go straight to Quintessential Teacher. What is Quintessential, and why Quintessential as a brand?
Okay. The Quintessential Teacher. Okay, so maybe first of all, I should give a little explanation on what a brand really is. So a person's brand is like a summation of who you are presently, what you want to be, and then what people perceive you to be at a particular time. A person's brand can be seen as your message to your customers. If it's in a business sense now, your brand is like your message to your customers. Your brand is like your message and your image at the same time. Your brand is okay.
Go ahead.
Okay, so your brand. All right, your brand tells people what to expect from you, and it also tells them what differentiates you from the rest of the crowd. And for me, the Quintessential Teacher is a brand. The word quintessential in itself means like a good representation of something, or like a perfect representation of something. Now, as the Quintessential Teacher, what I'm trying to achieve is projecting an image of what a true teacher should be, of what a right teacher should be. And how do I achieve this? By sharing my unique stories from my classroom. I mean, practical, tangible stories and experiences from my classroom. I get to share it with the world around me. Okay, creating or shaping a narrative about teachers and what we do. It goes beyond just standing in front of students and just talking each day. No, there are different things we experience. There are different things we go through each day. And as a Quintessential Teacher, I try to project that to the world.
Oh, wow, that's wonderful. As a Quintessential Teacher, you project what a perfect teacher should be. Now, of course, you could have chosen any other thing apart from teaching. Let me tell you, when I was in primary 3, I decided to be a teacher. And I can equally say that I was influenced by my environment. I'm not too sure, so that it won't be I'm committing the sin here now. The only lawyer on my street used to buy gari from my mother. I won't mention the area so that the lawyer will not come and look for me now. Used to buy gari from my mother, and then he will pay later. Yes, so there were cases like that he would need to pay later. So and then I never knew what lawyers do. Up till now, I still ask myself, what do lawyers do? I mean, jokingly anyway, I still ask that question in a way. I have very many of us friends. I still ask. So I decided. Then there was this woman on the street. This very, of course, we respect her, and we respected her. She was very sound. Of course, you will misbehave in the house, and then your parents will report you to this woman. She will be coming from the street, and then everybody wants to collect Mrs. Onikpade or Mrs. Onita's bag. So I said, no, this is a good job for me. I love reading, and I used to picture myself teaching others. Then I decided to be a teacher. But you know what? I hid this thing from others, even as small as I was, until when I was in primary 5, and I wrote it in a, you are a primary school teacher anyway, my self-composition, when you will have to write myself. So I had to write it in myself, and then Mr. Loyede said, wow, let's clap for Kwaifa. He wants to be a teacher, and that was like, wow. But I still hid it for a long time, even till I wrote my JAMB. A friend went to be a lawyer, a junior student, and I told him I also put in for law. And it was when I get admission to LASU, I told them that no, it's not law, it's education. And then, of course, I was already in the university then. So in your own case, what led to you choosing teaching? This Quintessential could have entered into other field, the Quintessential lawyer, the Quintessential doctor, the Quintessential this. Why education? Why teaching?
Okay. So this is something I say almost every time, or anytime I get to talk. I say that my story or my journey into the education sector is like the story of someone who is given a plate of food that you've never eaten before. a kind of food you've never, eaten. And then someone says, okay, take a spoon out of this. And then you take the first spoon, you see how it tastes. You take another spoon and you're like, okay, let me take some more, take some more, take some more. And it just gets more, it just gets really delicious as you keep eating it. That's my story into education. I didn't plan to study education. I planned to study English, but when I was filling the form, I just filled in English. So somehow my name got drafted into English education. And throughout the 4 years in the education faculty, I told myself, nah, Kemi, teach. But then after my NYC, I came back home and then I was trying, my mind was still made up, telling myself that, oh, I'm not teaching. This certificate is not going to be for use. And then so I was applying to lots of other places. It wasn't working and I was at home for a long while. And I'm like, okay, let me just try to put out some applications into some schools. And from the very first moment I put out my applications into schools, I started getting immediate responses, overwhelming responses that I now had to choose and say, okay, what do I want to do? And then I picked one of them and then I started the journey. But I think the important part of this for me is that when I decided that I wanted to teach, I knew that I did not want to do it at a mediocre level. I didn't just want to be a random teacher. I didn't want to be a normal teacher, because I asked myself lots of questions. I had seen different kinds of teachers around me growing up. I had seen those that were doing well. I had seen those that weren't just a picture of what I wanted. And then I asked myself pertinent questions that led me in the right direction. I told myself that I wanted to be the teacher that enjoys a job, the teacher that looks forward to every next minute in the classroom, the teacher that is an inspiration to the students, the teacher that the students can look up to. I mean, I've had teachers that, well, I'm sorry to say, but maybe they were not the kind of examples I wanted growing up. And so I made up my mind that if I'm going to teach, I'm going to be the teacher that my students look up to, that my students respect. And I'm constantly instilling positivity, and the right behavior in them, both academically and morally. So that's it for me.
All right, Ken, does this affect, or did it affect the environment you chose? In my own case, sincerely, I never wanted to be in any private sector, any private school. Of course, a lot of stories abound the way private teachers are being treated in different schools. So I never wanted to stay in any private schools. So many private schools I stayed in, probably I spent a term or two, even less than two. I can't remember spending up to 2 terms in any school, because I wanted to be in a public school. And let me put it as God answered my prayer eventually. So your decision of you don't want to be an ordinary teacher, you want to stand out, you don't want to be a mediocre teacher, did that affect the choice of environment?
Okay, well, to an extent it did. Just like I mentioned earlier, I was pushing out my applications into different private schools. I already knew that the entrance or the application process for the public sector is entirely different. And at that time, I'm not sure there was any major recruitment going on. So I knew that my basic options then were the private school. So I put in for that. Also, before this time, I had my teaching practice in a public school. Yes, I was there for close to a year. And then the environment was another story entirely. I mean, as much as I was still able to achieve, something positive with the students, I just felt that if I'm going to start off my career, for the first few years at least, I want to be in a particular kind of environment. And at that time, the private school where I got my employment was going to afford me all that. So that's why I went for the private sector.
That's great. So, Kemi, let's get down to this aspect. Something is outstanding about you. Now, it's not like my case, where I'm in a public school. I won my first ever popular award as the best teacher in Nigeria under the Multina Teacher of the Year. And boom, everybody wanted to know this Aboki, this Abuja teacher. Where is he? Why Abuja? Why public school? And in the space of 1 year like that, Microsoft, this program, that program, Global Teacher came. And of course, anybody could have just defined me to say his motivation in doing more is because, yes, he was once encouraged. Yes, he has gotten this. Now, I don't see you, I can't really say from what I've checked in your profile, LinkedIn and Facebook, if I'm not wrong, that you have won any major award as a teacher. Yet you have stood out in this job. I think gradually Quintessential Teacher is becoming a household name. You write a lot of articles. Now you just, we're still going together anyway. You have a course now on a particular platform. You have your own, a form of NGO for girls. You have teachers too that you have trained. You've trained so many teachers, over 1,000 of them. I mean, so many teachers that have worked for 25 years may not even be bold to say or be proud to say that they have trained up to 10 teachers in their life. And gradually now, Quintessential is becoming a household name. Of course, there's no way you post something on Facebook I will not want to read and read again. I mean, that's what the first, I can't remember what I read first, but when I read that story, I was like, wow, this is the teacher. I never even planned bringing you on any stage. I never even thought of even doing this program anyway. So what is your motivation? Not that you have won an award, not that you are a owner of a particular school. What is your motivation?
Okay. My motivation can be simply summed up in 3 words, and I think it's service to others. Okay.
Hold on. You take that again. I want you to just face everyone and say it. I'll be out of this.
Okay.
Over to you.
So I think my motivation can be termed up in even 1 word, and that 1 word is service. Service to others. When it's to my students, yes, service to my students. When it's to the teachers I work with for professional development, service to them. When it's with the young girls I work with in rural communities, service. So if there's one thing that drives me at every point in time, I think it's just service. Service to others, service to humanity, going beyond myself, going the extra mile for myself and other people around me. That's just simply my motivation. I mean, there are other things I could say, but that just sums it up.
I don't know teachers' problem. Teachers' problem. You will hear them that they will not say money. I guess Kemi is not. I hope you have not lost Kemi. Okay. They will not say it's money. You will not say it's what do you call it? Any other maybe anything. Well, maybe there's nothing glamorous about the job in the first place anyway, in terms of money. But you just get service and service. And that is one thing. Thank you so much for being a teacher in that one anyway. And thank you for being a teacher that just wants to serve others. And I think that's where we have our joy. During the holiday, people ask me, why is it that you don't rest? I look at it and said, no, these children were on lockdown. We spent just 6 weeks with them in the school. And you expect to go and sleep and to wake up in January and have them back in class. So all through the holiday, I was online teaching, even grammatical names and function, is stress word, is this, is that one. We just want to serve. We don't want to rest there. Thank you so much. But in all this service, Kemi, I'm still wondering how you manage your time. You write a lot. I posted something to you this morning now. Before I knew it, about 3 hours ago, you've turned into an article. You've posted it. I mean, I saw it on Instagram, on Facebook, and on LinkedIn. Now, you write, you do that a lot. You have a structured way of writing. Now, you have a course on a platform, you do that. And when I was trying to get you, I discovered that I could hardly communicate with you in the morning because probably you're on your way to work. You were off WhatsApp immediately after our first chat. Probably you will not come back until around 6 o'clock. You still go home, of course, because you're in private school, and you still do some other things. So how do you manage your time, and what do you tell teachers about time management and service to humanity?
Okay. So first of all, I think I should say that I'm very aggressive with my time. I'm aggressive when it comes to time management. I do not tolerate anything that wants to waste my time in any form, in any manner. I mean, that's one thing that can get me terribly upset because, I mean, every second is important to me. So if there's one thing that helps me with time management, it's planning, it's to-do list. I'm constantly keeping to-do list of, okay, this is what I want to do. This is what I want to do next. There's a to-do list that is guiding me when I do things. I plan ahead. I mean, from something little as the dresses I'm going to wear throughout the week, from the weekend, it's already planned. So I know that I wake up Monday morning, I pick this, Tuesday, it's this, it's planning. I try to schedule my time for different activities, even though I still give rooms for excesses. If I'm going to make my hair at the salon, trust me, there's a budget of time for that. And
God help you, you enter Lagos traffic. How do you manage Lagos traffic with your time management skill?
Okay, so that's why I say I still give a little room for excesses. As much as I'm planning the time, I still give a little room for, okay, just in case something else happens to eat into the time. But the basic thing for me is being able to differentiate between the things that are necessary and those things that are trivial. When it comes to writing, so many people ask me how I get to do it. Okay, like today, when I posted something on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn, I was in the middle of something else. Maybe I found a way to just balance many things at the same time. I was in the middle of something else. I was just able to write that up and I just posted it on the 3 platforms and I moved. I found a way to maybe multitask. I think that's the word now. Multitask, do things simultaneously. It might not simultaneously now, it might not work for everyone, but I think each person has to find out what works for you. Okay, not many people. Some people will say, oh, I'm not good at multitasking. I have to focus on one thing at a time. If you know that's the kind of person you are, then you need to differentiate between trivialities and the important things. That's how it works for me.
All right. Thank you, Kemi, for that. Yes, viewers at home, viewers wherever you are, we are with the Quintessential teacher, and we've really enjoyed our time with her here. In case you have any question for her, okay, someone is even greeting here now. Yes, my mom is greeting. I'm going to specially read out the message there. So in case you have any question for her, any comment, please, you can just go to the chat box there and drop your comments. Of course, I'm not here alone, as you know. The Quintessential teacher is still with me, and we're still going to ask her more questions because there's something about her. Our motivation is just service, not because she's winning awards, not because any awards are located at, but she's doing a lot there. So we are going out to still ask her more questions. But in case you want to ask her any question, you want to know more about her, you can drop it in the chat box there. So welcome back, Miss Kemi Ogunsoya, the Quintessential teacher. So let's talk about women. Oh, I missed something. I mean, I may have this way of forgetting things easily anyway. Congratulations on your recent award. Now, I just said you never won any award anyway, but of course, not in the, of course, everybody should understand what I'm talking about anyway. Yes. Now, congratulations. You were named, or you are now one of the 100 career women in Nigeria. Wow, to me, that's a big one. And you know, it's not just a big one, it's a big one that we have a teacher. I mean, I'm not saying a school owner. We're not talking about a consultant. You know, those ones are even more popular than teachers. We have a teacher. Among, I mean, when I checked the list, you know, I was in a training and I checked the list from beginning to the end on Instagram. I was sweeping one by one and I saw great Nigerian, great women. I mean, great, let's call them captain of industries. Will I be correct? Yes. I mean, I saw the MD of Nigerian Breweries, Mrs. Shade Morgan. I saw the CEO of this our field, Teach for Nigeria, Folawe. I mean, I saw somebody from Coca-Cola. I saw people from different big corporations. I mean, and I saw someone from inside the classroom. Man, I felt like just blowing out. Like, wow. So from the classroom, if you are to arrange, I mean, okay, let's just assume that a dinner is organized now, and then they are out to fly in with first-class tickets. So Kemi, you will join them. I mean, the teacher is there. I mean, let's say they have to sit down in front, no front row, no back row. Wherever you get to is where to get to. I mean, a teacher that would chalk or marker in the classroom. Now, and it goes to establish the fact that teaching job is noble, but not just with words of mouth anymore now, but in actions. I want to really appreciate you for bringing it down here. You know, people have said, you cannot be a teacher. You can imagine that you are sitting side by side those big ladies, and they ask you, what do you do? And you say you're a teacher in the classroom. And they say, wow, my daughter will also be a teacher like you too. I've asked people saying that, yes, a student of mine once said she wanted to be a teacher and she would like to be a teacher like me. I mean, you can see that is highly motivational. Wow. That's highly motivational. So thank you for that one. So how do you feel with this your award or with this your selection?
It feels great. It feels awesome. Most especially looking at the selection process, the panel that had to screen everyone. Everything just makes me really excited. It makes me really optimistic. Looking through the list, just like you, I also read through the list, looking at women that were doing excellent in different industries. And for me, it's still a motivation for me to keep on with what I'm doing, not to relent on my efforts, but to still keep getting better daily.
Wow, thank you. Do you think, does this open you to like, okay, you want to try applying for some awards, some of the ones that we applied for, Global Teacher Prize, Multina Teacher of the Year, Inspirational Educator Award, and some other ones? Have you ever considered applying for any?
Yes, I have. Yes, I have. It's something. Okay, yes, I have, and I think it's something I'm looking forward to being a part of. Yes.
Okay, well, that's great. All right, let me read what I have here. Rose Inkem, I'm going to expose her. Of course, we don't have any, but Rose Inkem happened to be the first multinational teacher of the year in Nigeria, 2015. And I call her my mother. I wouldn't want to expose, but okay, let me just expose it. I don't know how to eat outside very well. I don't know how to select food. So anytime we go for multinational teacher of the year program every year, I will just line up behind her and tell her, ma, what should I pick? What is that particular one? Should I take this one? And she has been leading me well. So she's my mother when it comes to that. She says, hi, just jumping in from Anambra. Okay. Well done, Kemi Ogunsoya and Olasukomi Okoifa. Thank you so much, ma. Someone from okay, a student of mine is greeting you saying, wow, more grace. So much inspired by your being. And someone from Ogun State, because I know them, that's why I'm mentioning where they came from anyway, is saying, well done, ma, quintessential teacher, Kemi Ogun. Please don't change her surname. She said Kemi Ogunsoya, not Kemi Ogunsanwo. All right, so I've corrected that. That's one of my friends there. He is also a TeacherX. And then my boss is in the house too. My mentor, that's Olalekan Adieko, is also equally greeting us. So, Miss Kemi, thank you so much for coming. Of course, we are not running off now. We still have about 15 minutes to get to part two. But before we get to jump to the part two, let me ask you two questions here. Looking at technology, I know you are not, of course, I didn't have to test you to come on this line. We didn't have to do so much rehearsal. I didn't have to tell you, okay, do this, do that. Looking at technology, looking at education, and looking at female teachers in Nigeria, I don't want to go too far. I don't want to explain so much. What's our hope?
Okay. First of all, it's important for every teacher to understand the fact that technology and education are inextricably linked. There's no way you want to separate it from each other. If you're going to get the best, of education, if you're going to engage your students,
can you say that again? Technology and education. Hold on. So go.
Okay, technology and education are inextricably linked. They are connected. And so if you're going to give the best to your students in any way, you're going to need to infuse some measure of technology, whether it's some measure of technological tools or devices, or there's just a need to infuse technology into education to give the best to our students. Now, when the pandemic broke out, that was last year, it helped, or it dawned on most people knew that technology is important. I mean, there were many teachers that now had to start learning, how do I use Zoom? How do I create videos for my students? How do I do now? I feel that if many teachers had been incorporating different forms of technology within their classrooms, it might not have been very difficult finding a balance when the pandemic broke out. So technology is important. And then coming to females now, I think I'll just say that there are many females in the education sector that are doing exploits, doing well. If I have to call names right now, there are definitely lots of names I can call. I just think that the challenge for us as females is for us to rise beyond any form of limits we see around us. For females not to
Hope I've not lost you there. So sorry. Please
okay,
continue.
Okay. So for females not to feel lesser because of their gender, I mean, whatever it is that you see anyone from the other, whatever it is you see, a man achieving, yes, a female can also rise and push to that extent. So right now in the education sector, I can say there's a lot of hope because we see women that are striving, that are pushing beyond limits to do exploits.
Really, you can say that. Okay. So, my own experience was during the pandemic, during the lockdown. Yes, so many teachers, male and female, wanted to use technology. Like now, this program like this now, we will see close to 100 viewers by now. Or yes. However, as soon as the lockdown was eased and we have to resume school, I noticed a decline in the interest. Of course, ordinarily we organize a program to train teachers, come free of charge. You will see more than 200 at times. But now, you do that, try it now. Do something free and then call teachers to come and join. It's going down. And what my observation is, we have more women in this field than men, right?
True.
Well, I've not really done any survey, but I think from what we can see around. So if we really want to take education forward, I think we need more women like you that can use technology, that can go an extra mile to use technology in the classroom. So, well, if you say yes, we are hopeful, fine, fine. I give up. But to me, I think our hope now, well, because I'm a man and today this is Women's Week, we are hopeful. Okay, so that they won't call for my head. We are hopeful, sincerely, we are hopeful. And I'm one of the people that I really believe that, yes, the little I do, almost every quarter, I do what you call female teachers leveraging tech. I will bring in female teachers that can be trained. Just come and learn how to use basic Microsoft Word, PowerPoint, and Excel in your class. That's an encouragement. And we go on like that. So thank you. Let's say we are hopeful. Now, looking at your own contribution as a teacher and others, where do you see, similar to the question I asked earlier, where do you see education in the next 10 years? Looking at young people. Now, so before you answer that question, yesterday I had a chat with a very great educator. He's no longer teaching anyway. He just, of course, he celebrated me on his own page. Then I tried to get his number, so I got him. We started talking. I mean, this is how we link. For about 30 minutes, we just kept on talking about education. Mr. Dieko, my friend there, if we start education talk today, we may not end it tomorrow. I mean, it's our wife that will be like, therefore, let's focus on something else. So looking at our contribution, your contribution, young people coming into education, and where do you see Nigerian education or globally now in the next 10 years?
Okay. I recently wrote an article about the future of education, and it was published in the Guardian newspaper. That was like a few weeks ago. And in that article, I gave my insights into what I think education is going to look like in the next few years. First of all, I'm going to say that there's going to be, well, no one can accurately predict what the future will look like. We can only try to assume based on things we can see now. And then I should also mention will only happen if some measures are put in place. So we can decide to predict based on the way things are. But if certain structures are still not put in place, the predictions might not be accurate. But with everything we can see now, I feel that there will be a rise in technological devices or in the use of technology in the coming years. There's an awareness, or I feel that there will be a further awareness of digital literacy beyond what we have now. The pandemic already has exposed the fact, or has already exposed how important technology is for academic continuity and institutional resilience in terms of crisis. So everyone is more exposed to that, and I feel that in the coming years, that will be further expanded. I also think that if we're going to look at 10 years from now, the education divide we currently have in Nigeria, I feel like it won't be as wide as it is now. Nigeria currently has like the highest number of out-of-school children in the world, at least the last time I checked.
You don't want to go there, right? You don't want to start that one here today.
So I think in 10 years, the story won't be the same. I mean, in the next few years, that story won't be the same because more efforts are being put in place by different people in different parts of the country, trying to make sure that education gets into the hinterland. I feel that won't be the same. There have been lots of continuous talks about the curriculum, people saying lots of things about what the curriculum should look like. With the right structures being put in place, with more people getting involved, or with the right people getting involved in the planning of education, I feel that we're going to keep having a richer and more robust curriculum in the coming years. What we have now will be better when it comes to the curriculum. Also, I should also say, I should also mention the fact that in Nigeria at the moment, there's more prominence being given to knowledge-based learning, basically just knowledge-based learning over skills. As much as, yes, skills are being promoted in different ways, most people still limit education to, okay, what are we doing in math? What are we doing in English? That's the focus for many people. As an awareness on the importance of skills keeps moving in the society. In the next few years, the education sector will I feel that the education sector will be paying more importance to skill-based learning over just knowledge-based learning.
Wow, thank you very much. And you know what I just got from this now? Whoever is not prepared for this as a teacher, as an educator, as a school owner, might be kicked out of business. Now, it won't be business as usual. It won't be knowledge-based, yes, content as usual. It will be based on skill. It's what can your school offer to as a solution to this bugging problem. I mean, we start seeing innovators and solution providers from our secondary schools, and we are seeing that already. Check some competitions around STEM, especially. You will see amazing young children coming up with so many things. So by the time the curriculum will change, I think we're not going to be having some subjects anymore. We may even have a subject called critical thinking. We may now have subject called collaboration. We may have subject called deep leadership. So you need to display it not just in writing, but in action. So, and I think that is even the more reason why teachers need to come together. My fear, I don't know whether you share the same fear with me, the way competition is now coming up among teachers, because we're having a lot of interest in teachers now, motivation. This one is coming up to bring competition. This other one, Lagos State is doing, Federal is doing, Martina is doing. I hope other companies like that, they are doing quite all right, okay? Before I mention something else now, everybody is doing competition, and our teachers are seeing the next teacher as the person that may block him. And I think at this point now, we need to just wake up to as teachers. Collaboration is key. Yeah. Ability to even self-lead and lead others is key. And thank God that we have people like you and more ones that will surely come up. Thanks for modeling this. In the next few minutes, we should be running off this now because of time. It's planned to use 45 minutes. I'm going to part 2 of this. But before we move on to part 2, I'm supposed to have a commercial break, but I can't do that today now. I'm going to do that in our next edition. However, I've been talking to Miss Kemi Ogunsoya. Miss Kemi Ogunsoya is a teacher, and she's popularly known as the Quintessential teacher. I mean, she's a teacher I can say that has motivated herself from within, not because something has identified her, but she has really stood out. And in the next part we are going to now, she's going to be telling us some things that she does. She has several initiatives, just like me. I can't count how many initiatives. I have to just find a way of bringing them under one umbrella now. So, Miss Kemi, you have so many things that you've been doing. Okay, I think you tell us something about Pristine, you tell us the teacher initiative, and you tell us the new course that you just created now for teachers. So in your own time, be checking time. Okay, I'm always here anyway. So check time now and go take us through all this. And that will be the last question we are going to be asking if there's no any other one from our audience.
Okay, so I'll start with the first project I started working with, or the first initiative I convened, which is the Pristine Project. Now, the Pristine Project is focused on menstrual hygiene education to girls in rural communities. That was the initial objective. And how did I come about the Pristine Project? During the course of my master's degree, my project was based on educational wastage and internal efficiency. So I had to go into some secondary schools, into some public secondary schools, talking to the students, just trying to find out information or information that I needed for my project. And then in talking to these students, just to discover sources of educational wastage, I found out that some of the girls, for some reasons, won't come to school for some number of days just because they were on their period. A girl can choose not to be in school maybe for 2 days, 3 days, because she says, oh, she doesn't want to be stained in school. And then if she wants to change in school, oh, the restrooms aren't so clean. And she doesn't want to say that she doesn't want anybody to tell her that there's any kind of smell or around her. She's just not comfortable being in school. So she can choose not to be in school for 2 days, 3 days because of her menstruation. And then I found that quite alarming. I discovered that some of them, the perceptions they had about their menstruation was the hush tone of, oh, no, let's talk about it. Let's just keep quiet. And then I knew that was something I wanted to address. So by the time I was done with my master's degree, my master's thesis and all that, I knew, yes, I was going to set up this project. It just started out with reaching out to girls in different rural communities, educating them on menstrual hygiene management, how to care for themselves. That was all it started with. But in the last year, so the Pristine Project started 18 months ago. And then after our first outreach, we decided that we want to do more. So I incorporated, the team incorporated skills, we incorporated skill empowerment sessions, where when the girls come together after the menstrual hygiene education talks, we still get to empower them. We bring people to come and train them in different in different skills. For example, the last one we had in a Butte Meta, the girls were trained on how to make soaps, how to make just the basic hand wash sanitizers. So that could help them. For those of them that want to continue doing it, they could just do it to earn something little for themselves. Beyond that, we also get to distribute free sanitary wares to the girls. So that's basically what the Pristine Project is about. I realized the fact that menstrual hygiene education is linked to most of the SDG goals. Is linked to education, is linked to sanitation, is linked to gender equality, is linked to so many things, and it's something I want to keep on doing. And then my second project is the Teachers Discuss series.
Before you go to the second project, let me just tell you my experience too, for you to know that this is very important. It's just difficult for me to do. As sincerely, one day I just sat and like, by the time I start distributing sanitary pad and they say, "Okay, what are you doing again?" You want to do So do you know when I served in Adamawa, I served with, there was only lady that served with us. Interestingly, she's in my house now. Don't laugh at that one.
Oh wow!
So I would go and tell her that, come, I found it difficult to walk in between the students. You know, as a teacher now, you want to walk, especially I want to sing, I want to do some different styles for the students. I just want to just be with them. But at my first approach, it would just be like something malodorous will just hit you and I will go back. So I asked her one day that, and she was like, do you know, most of the time when these girls are on their stuff, they wore two undies like that. I was like, don't they know what to do? So thank God we were pets. They call us pets. HIV, we're treating HIV and reproductive health something then. So we had to take them through this. Unfortunately, it was a rural area. Of course, stuff like that were not being sold there. The elderly ones among them, the senior girls, will use cloth as part of, instead of the sanitary part. So it's very important to even talk about this. And I'm still sure that if you still go to some rural areas, some girls actually don't know exactly what to do. And thank you for all this that you are doing. We are with Miss Kemi Ogun-Sonya. She is a teacher, an outstanding one for that matter. She just, I think we just lost her. Okay, she's back now. Okay, so we're talking about the sanitary project, the sanitary pad project you are doing. Thank you so much. Please do more, encourage more. Please, female teachers, don't wait for me to start carrying this thing, because very soon, if I'm pushed now, I'll just go to, I don't want to mention all those brands now and beg them that please give me this. But I think I have other things, other projects around me. But it's interesting for me to see when they come to our school assembly and ask girls to line up and they start giving it to them. And I think boys too should also be told this. My younger sister and my elder sister, I happen to be in the middle, showed me the stuff and how it should be done. And it makes me to appreciate women more. Yes, we don't need to chase the boys away when we are giving it to them. Let them appreciate that this is what they go through. And I think by the time we really know this, empathy will set in and we need to respect them. So thank you so much, Kemi, for that you do for them. So let's go. What do you do for teachers? Not only for girls.
This is something that started last year, and it's called the Teachers Discuss series. It just started out as a platform to bring teachers together for training sessions. So what I do is, I know that I have that passion for professional development. I know that I want to see more teachers grow. I know that I want to see more teachers, doing extremely well. A lot of times I get asked by many teachers, oh, Kemi, how do you get the energy? How do you get the passion for what you do? How do you stay motivated? And then I discovered, okay, why don't I bring teachers together and at different times try to share my story with them, try to share my experiences with them, and bring in even other experts in the field to share salient knowledge with them that they need to also thrive. So that's what the Teachers Discuss series is about. From time to time, teachers come together for conferences and sessions to learn even from themselves as well as industry experts in the field.
Okay. So sorry, quickly, let me come back to the studio. All right, and finally, you have a project, a course, not a project now, that's a very big one on a particular platform, School Linker. I saw that with Olukayode Shield. Can you tell us about this? Multiple intelligences.
All right, multiple intelligence, or the multiple intelligence theory is something that is very key to me. I realized that as a teacher, most times people tend to focus on intelligence in a singular way. That, oh, okay, if you're good in math, if you're good in English, if you're good in your school subjects and all that, oh, this person is intelligent. While other people that might be exhibiting other forms of intelligence sometimes are not recognized or sometimes are not appreciated. How did this start out for me? When I used to write my report card comments, or at the beginning of my teaching career, writing report card comments used to be something very difficult, particularly with those students that weren't getting the best of grades. You know, I look at some children and I'm like, what do I want to write about this child? Am I just going to write all the negative things the child has been doing in class? And I said, no, I'm going to watch out for each child. I'm going to look out for something positive, any strength, any ability, any interest the child has, and I'm going to be able to communicate this and express this to the parents. That's how my journey into the application of the multiple intelligence theory started out, recognizing the different ways that students absorb and acquire information. So there might be a child that isn't doing so well in a school subject or in his or her school subject, but the child knows how to maybe dance ballet excellently, or the child is a top, maybe the child is a top athlete. That's some form of intelligence to nurture in different, to nurture in different children. If we want to look at the Williams sisters, that's Venus and Serena Williams, they started practicing for tennis at the age of maybe 3 or 5. At a very young age, they were already being groomed for excellence. Now, I'm sure you won't be able to compare a child that started training for tennis at the age of 3 and someone else that started training for tennis at the age of 18. The results won't just be the same. So my focus in pushing out this course is to raise an awareness of the fact that there are different forms of intelligence that children or that students possess. And it's time for the society to begin to identify those intelligences and begin to nurture them. We shouldn't just push the different interests or talents that children have aside while only academic grades. Yes, the grades are important, super important, but we shouldn't also push aside skills and other forms of intelligences that students possess.
Wow, it's been a wonderful time here, of course, and just have to go at this point. Miss Kemi, thank you so much. I mean, I just have to keep quiet, like, wow, we have so many things in common here now. That aspect you just touched now, I don't want to delve into it. I remember in an interview, I have to use the example of this Davido, Wizkid, and the rest. Imagine we started training them from primary school. Yes. I mean, one of the songs I used in my classroom, I used to sing it in my particular way. Then this boy that graduated in 2015 saw it. I called him, said, no, Mr. Kwefa, this one is not cute enough. Let's mix it again. Then he mixed it very well for me. Do you know, all through his first year in university, he was being paid 50,000 naira every month by Techno because there was a context he won because he rapped. I mean, this was the boy that would rap in the classroom, rap everywhere, and then that was just the only thing. I imagine I discovered that on time in him, and I started raising him from primary and from SS1. I knew him. He would come into my office. They would ask me to excuse them in a way, and then before you know it, they have a song already with my phone. And imagine we have developed all this. Imagine what we are going to be doing. I think our curriculum needs to really change. And we're still going to bring you back on this thread and talk about this particular multiple intelligence. But our time is not really on our side. We still have other things to do. Miss Kemi, thank you so much for being a teacher. You are highly celebrated. And once again, we are congratulating you. My friend here, one of the best teachers in Ogun State, is saying top 100 career women in Nigeria, a nation builder. Congratulations to Kemi Ogunsonya. You are a leader that other female teachers need to emulate. More win by God's grace, Math. All right, thank you so much, Mr. Adewale Kayode. Yes, we've been with Ms. Kemi Ogunsoya, and we are rounding it up now. So in 30 seconds, Ms. Kemi, what will you tell teachers, not just female teachers? I think male teachers also need to learn from you. What will you tell them? 30 seconds.
30 seconds. For every teacher, your personal and professional development is important. Invest in yourself because you are the greatest asset to yourself.
Wow, I'm the greatest asset to myself. So I need to invest in myself. And the investment I want to do now is to learn how to rest. So I'm going to do that. So congratulations, Kemi. So proud of you. That's still in Kim Obi, the maiden winner of Martina Teacher of the Year. See, we're still waiting for you. Please, okay, Martina Teacher is just for secondary school teachers. And maybe one day you just please switch to secondary school, okay? Win the award and then go back to primary school so that we can have it there. Thank you so much, Miss Kemi. That's my Mr. Adieko. The session is so informative, and I love the multiple intelligence angle. You say this guy that just talked now. Okay, Okay, let's keep that anyway. So thank you. I'm not here alone. Okay, I'm going to start with him now. This program is possible because of the support I got from TeacherX Project. TeacherX Project is a project that brings teachers together on a platform, we call it social professional platform, where teachers come together, they connect, they collaborate, they communicate. We have courses there too. We may ask for your course too anyway and add to it. I believe you won't mind anyway. Maybe Mr. Oluwaseun will not be angry with us in a way. And we will talk about that one anyway. So with the support of my Director of Technicals, if I'm correct, that is Mr. Adeko Olalekan, and with the support of my Director of Policy and Strategy, Mr. A.Y. Odiogola. They are all greeting you and they are saying congratulations to you. Till we meet again next week. Next week, we're going to be looking at Global Teacher Prize Award. We want to see. Those who want to apply, please gather here. It will be in the morning on Saturday by the grace of God or anytime anyway.
Please.
Okay, you want to come? Okay, please gather here. Let's talk about those things that you need to do. Of course, we are not promising that you are going to win, but at least we are going to talk about certain things. No, of course, not you. I'm talking to everyone now. It's been a wonderful time. I'm going to come with my commercial break some other time. Thank you so much, Ms. Kemi. Do have a wonderful day. Let me say bye-bye to the audience, please.
All right. Bye, everyone. Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure being on this session today.
All right. Bye-bye. See you next week.